The story begins with a little deer named Bambi. The backstory centers on the relationship between him, his mother, and his dad, the great prince, the stag. 2 months after his mother rescued him and allowed a hunter to shoot her, Bambi was saved by his father. One day, after Bambi played with his friends Thumper and Flower, he met Mina. The great prince allowed Bambi to go and live with Mina as a foster family. After the flashback, the story continues with Tommy Oliver as he travels from England to America. He visits an old friend who made him a book about the history of the Enchanted Forest. Tommy adopted Pluto the dog. They traveled to England and arrived at Tommy's house. He sings, "I Stand Alone." Bambi was curious about the house and went to explore. His journey begins. Inside of Tommy's house, Bambi explored the house. He accidentally summoned Pluto, who chased him outside and around the house. Pluto chased Bambi up a tree. Bambi sneezed, and then he and Pluto fell off the tree. They survived, and Bambi escaped. Pluto tried to go after him, but was stopped by Tommy. Bambi ran back into the forest and met Phil the chimpanzee and Archimedes the owl. Meanwhile, Bambi reunites with his old friend, Feline. Moments after the two flirt with one another, Bambi befriended Jiminy Cricket. Feline went home, and Bambi spends time with Jiminy. The two friends explored an abandoned castle, an abandoned farm, and a small abandoned town. Bambi went home with Mina. Jiminy spends the night at Tommy's house. Meanwhile, in outer space, Tommy's nemesis, Lothor, plots to have revenge on Tommy. He came to the forest with a ship. The next day, Lothor and his minions battled Tommy, Jiminy, and Phil. After the villains retreated, Tommy realized that Lothor was here for revenge on him. Meanwhile, Bambi goes ice skating with Thumper. Afterwards, Bambi encountered Lothor. Lothor uses his magic powers to twist Bambi's mind. That allowed Bambi to make friends with Rano, and they caused a riot like naughty juveniles. Jiminy stopped Bambi, and Bambi quits horsing around with Rano, who fell into a mud pool. Tommy, Pluto, and Pooh Bear befriended Bambi. Bambi felt bad about being naughty. Tommy shows him the book about the history of the Enchanted Forest. After he tells him the story, Tommy hoped Bambi would never turn to the dark side. Feline finds Bambi, who worries about her, losing her actually. After an argument, Bambi was angry at Feline and tells her to go. Sadly, Feline ran away from him crying. Bambi came back to his senses and tries to help, but he failed to catch up with her. The next day, Bambi felt ashamed about the way he treats Feline. Bambi follows Tommy in his yard and wants to play with him. Tommy tried to fix something, but Bambi complains about becoming mean. That angers Tommy. Bambi calms down and walks away from Tommy. Meanwhile, Bambi went to explore an abandoned palace. There, he encountered James P. Sullivan, or Sully for short, and his best friend, Mike Wazowski. Bambi wants to make new friends with them, but they believe that he was a deer with a curse, much to Bambi's frustration. Bambi angrily gets Mike's teddy bear, but Mike got the bear back and slapped Bambi on the nose. Bambi ran into the woods crying. Jiminy finds him in his old home, the thicket. and comforts him by giving him Sam, the fox toy that used to belong to Simba and Twilight Sparkle. Mike and Sully befriended Bambi, and they went on an adventure to London Town and a circus. Jiminy finds Feline and comforts her. Feline sings a musical number and hopes that Bambi and she will always love each other. Feline sets off on a quest to reunite with her hero, Bambi, and bring him home. Jiminy and Tommy are also on a mission to reunite with Bambi. Somewhere in London Town, Feline befriended Tommy and Jiminy, who are searching for Bambi. Tommy battles a giant skeleton beast that was sent by Goldar. The beast chased Bambi, Mike, and Sully, but Tommy rescued the three and defeated the beast. Bambi defended Tommy and defeated Goldar. Bambi went to hide from Feline and was in a circus. The ringmaster features the little deer as the star of the show, but when Bambi sees Feline outside the tent, he accidentally destroyed the circus tent with the elephants. The little deer escaped. Later that night, Mike was kidnapped by Randall Boggs, who wants to hunt down Bambi and rule the Enchanted Forest. After a musical number, Bambi and Sully rescued Mike from Randall and his sidekick, Fungus. The next day, Bambi, Sully, and Mike returned into the Enchanted Forest. Bambi went back to Mina. 3 weeks later, Tommy reunites with his old friends, Sully and Mike. He even shows them how he transforms into the Dino Thunder Black Ranger. Feline searches everywhere for Bambi, but he still hides from her. Feline finally gave up. Bambi saw Feline crying in sorrow. He plans on setting things right. Randall catches Bambi and chases him to the abandoned castle. Tommy, Sully, and Mike rescued Bambi. They battled Randall and defeated him. After Bambi escaped, Tommy battled Lothar and defeated him. Meanwhile, Bambi finds Feline and restored his friendship with her. After a romance kiss, Bambi and Feline happily embraced. After a musical number, Mike, Sully, and Tommy believed that Bambi was growing up. The next day, Tommy retired from being a Power Ranger. In his yard, he sees Bambi, and they happily embraced. Meanwhile, Bambi spends time with his dad. The story ends with Bambi and Feline, who both grew up and have a family.